This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news with one confirmed report of the Zika virus in the Bahamas. Bahamians are on high alert. Here on Grand Bahama is no exception. Residents of a local community say a disturbing situation has developed, putting them in fear. Tonight, a resident is speaking up and expressing concern that their appeals may have fallen on deaf ears. Italia Hall reports.
For months now, residents of an upscale community in Bahamas have been trying to get the attention of officials. The bone of contention is an area off Bremer Road that is apparently being confused for the city dump. Mountains of old tires have been discarded, making the area a breeding ground for mosquitoes and ripe for the spread of the disease. Resident James Roll has been living in this area for some 14 years. He says since March of this year, he and other neighbors have noticed that someone has been dumping tires on a property nearby.
This is not an area that's designated for the disposal of this kind of waste tires. I think the city has a dump, and there are provisions that allow individuals who need to discard their unwanted goods or materials in that way.
Roll is calling this a hazard to the community, and as you can see here, there are hundreds and hundreds of tires dumped on this lot. He says something needs to be done immediately to correct this issue.
One of the things we need to be concerned about too is that the recent outbreak of the Zika virus, and no one knows how this is moved from country to country or whatever. And if it's in the Bahamas, and we have one case of Zika virus in the Bahamas already, we don't know how far it has spread and what the consequences could be. I am particularly concerned because in this neighborhood there are children, okay, and unless this mess is cleared up, you could have an outbreak of some other waterborne diseases.
And he has this message for the person or persons responsible for this illegal act.
I cry shame on them.
Roll says residents has contacted the powers that be, and to date, nothing has been done.
We have all communicated to the developer of this company, Bahamian Services Limited, and most recently I would have forwarded a communication to the manager for Harcourt Development, expressing my concerns.
Now our ZNS News team visited the Bahamian Service Company office where we spoke with the president, Donald Archer.
They're trying to identify who.
Archer says he has been in contact with the owner of the property and it is the owner's responsibility to actually remove the tires, adding that the owner has been in touch with the police to find out who is the culprit of this crime. The president says if it is not removed by Friday, Bahamian Services will remove the debris. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
The Grand Bahama Investor Incentive Bill was debated in the Senate today. The bill, designed to stimulate economic growth, receiving high marks from government senators. Those opposite say they were not convinced that this bill will live up to its billing. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
The Grand Bahama Port Area Investment Incentives Bill 2016, which is
the Grand Bahama Port Area Investor Incentive Bill generated spirited debate in the Senate. The bill seeks to create a more investor-friendly climate and dismantle any barriers stagnating this island's future growth and development. A memorandum of understanding between the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority earlier this year was signed to ensure effective governance of Freeport, and it's that agreement which opposition senators, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson and the Honorable Carl Bethel, called into question.
How could this be an incentive to for economic development if it adds more taxes, or it has the ability to add more taxes to Grand Bahamians and to those who do business in the Freeport area? Freeport continues to suffer. Unemployment, which is higher than the national average, is too high. Home foreclosure is too high. Property sales are sluggish. Our local economy is not growing fast enough. In Freeport, our taxes are too high for our current economic crisis. And our cost of living, which has risen, in some cases above the national average, is too high.
you have a free port.
You want to change how you treat a Freeport to make it the same way you treat every other part of the Bahamas. That's what you've done. And our view is you should not abrogate the Freeport, which means when you get your license, you get your exemptions.
Minister of State for National Security, Senator the Honorable Keith Bell, fired back. He stated that the government has not only demonstrated the political will, but the fortitude needed to assist in the resuscitation of Grand Bahama's economy.
All we have heard from the other side is noise from the peanut gallery, more or less. Pure noise. But what we have presented today, Mr. Acting President, is an alternative to ensure that we identify those businesses which ought to be taxed, and we identify a means by which we exempt those businesses. Government must run. Government must operate. The government must operate. How do you expect a government to function? How do you expect new roads to be built? How do you expect a new bridge to be built? How do you expect for infrastructure to be developed? How do you expect for housing to be built for people?
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
In other news, a leader in the transportation sector is looking to further solidify its position in this vital industry as it makes a significant investment to meet current demands. Company officials tell our Cleopatra Murphy that when it comes to further growth and development, the company's future looks bright.
A highly awarded transportation and tour provider on the island, H. Forbes Charter and Tours Limited, is making a $1.6 million investment into the expansion and upgrade of its 20-strong fleet of buses. Owner of the company, Hedley Forbes, says the first of 6 double-decker buses will be on the island by the end of this month and 3 more by the end of October.
We're upgrading our fleet is because our clients overseas, they want the best, and we make an arrangement with them. We will have the best. You can't take your clients for granted these days. There are too many other destinations people choose to go.
With the expansion of buses, the company that employs 54 will also add 24 new hires. Forbes, who won a CACIC award in 2002 for transportation, says since starting the company in 1971, he has seen many competitors come and go. He credits his success to employees, the level of service H. Forbes Charter provides, and determination.
I decided with vision, purpose, solution, execution, I have stayed because my vision is to be the best and different from the rest.
With his success locally, Forbes says his eye is on growth.
The future plan for the company is to expand the company and other islands who may need the kind of service that I provide, because I serve international guests, and when they start traveling to other destinations, we're likely to follow them around.
Forbes says Carnival Cruise Lines is expanding its presence on Grand Bahama, and the Balearia has made upgrades, so Grand Bahamians need to have that same vision. The entrepreneur says he is looking ahead and planning for the future. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
A local private institution in preparation move for the upcoming academic year. Tonight, officials say they are looking forward to another successful term. Sabrina Brown has more.
The Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy is fast becoming an institution of choice on Grand Bahama. Interim Principal Edward Johnson says the enrollment has been at its maximum for the past several years, and the demand is growing.
Enrollment has always been around 500 students. That's our maximum. And we are always under pressure to increase our class size or our class amounts. Right now we have 2 streams in high school, a primary stream in grade 7, a secondary stream. We are always under pressure to start a new grade 7 class so that we'll have 3 streams going instead of 2. And right now, our current physical resources, we can't manage more than 2 streams.
Johnson, who assumed the top post during the last school term, says the private institution remains focused on programs that will improve the overall quality of education at the school.
We partnered with a college in the U.S., Southern Texas, Wiley College, that give the students credits, advanced credits for passing classes while they're still in high school. And what we predict is that we're going to have several students in this year that are going to have up to 18 credits, college credits already when they graduate. And that's one of the most exciting programs that we have going on right now. This year we're even looking into something new, virtual technology, virtual reality technology, where students would be able to put on a goggles and they can be in a virtual world. So you can imagine, Sabrina, if you want to teach the students about the heart, if you're a biology teacher, you put on these goggles and right away you're in the heart.
He says Tabernacle, which is known for its high athletic standard, continues to soar when it comes to academics as well.
For the last few years, we've had 90% of our BJC students passing all of their exams, between 80 and 90%. And we've always had, when we look at the grades A through D, we've always had more than 80% of our students that sit the BGCSE achieving grades A through D. And we even want to improve that even more.
Tabernacle Baptist will officially open for the new year on September 5th. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news right after this.
This was a defining moment. At the end of an athlete's career, they always want to make it to the Olympics, and to see Shawnee actually fight and push and lean towards that finish line, I was just ecstatic. I made enough noise for all of the neighbors to know that I was a true Bahamian fan of athletics, and let me tell you something, I'm so excited right now, I'm almost ready to go running.